Bonjour tout le monde, c'est Mademoiselle et aujourd'hui je vais vous présenter en français les adjectifs, quelques adjectifs. On va commencer avec petit versus grand et puis on va discuter les couleurs. Et en fait, l'ordre que j'ai mis dans cette PowerPoint est les couleurs et puis petit versus grand. Donc, ça, c'est ce qu'on va discuter aujourd'hui. Si vous voulez prendre des notes, je vous conseille de faire ça, bien sûr, de prendre des notes. C'est une bonne idée. Vous pouvez prendre en ligne ou dans un cahier, comme vous voulez, mais on y va. Peut-être. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, on va commencer avec les couleurs. So, in French, as we've been talking about, French is a gendered language. So, adjectives such as the colors, when we use colors to describe things, they're being used as an adjective. And so, adjectives agree in gender and number with the nouns they modify. So, that's why for the vocab, I have you guys writing un, une, le, la, because in French it's important for grammar to know if it's a masculine or feminine item, because that's going to depend what kind of adjective we use in the sentence. So, first let's go through all of the colors, les couleurs en français. All right? La première couleur est rouge. Rouge. You've maybe heard this before when people like start to blush, they get a little rouge. Or if you do makeup, some people call it rouge for blush. Rouge. Rouge is the color red. Rouge. If you are describing something that if you're saying like I have a red pair of scissors, j'ai des ciseaux rouges, because ciseaux is plural, that's when you would add the s. So that's why in all these colors I have either an s in parentheses or an e, depending on whether the item is masculine, feminine, or plural. Okay, so moving along, orange, la couleur orange. Orange. That one doesn't really change. Orange. Oh, my bad. I need a. Ooh, Mademoiselle made a faute. Actually, we don't need an S on orange. I forgot that little rule. So normally you do make things agree, right? But for some reason, certain colors. Oh, I also forgot. Wow, this is a rough presentation, guys. I also forgot to add this other color in. Marron. We're just gonna pretend that this didn't happen. All right. I think that's gonna be too dark. Marron. Okay. Whatever. We'll work with it. Ooh. Yikes. Okay. Ah. I'm sorry. You're just trying to take notes, and I'm having a mental breakdown over here. All right. So, going back to the color orange. So as I was saying, normally we do have to make things agree, but for some reason in the French language, the colors orange and brown do not need to have an S. They don't need to have an extra E. For some reason, they don't have to. And I believe it's from when they were taken from English or something like that. And then they just decided to not do that. But this is a minor detail, guys. I just wanted to point this out to you, though. Like, if you do make these plural, I'm not going to dock you points for them, because that's generally the rule, right? I just want you to at least be aware of this, okay? So, rouge, orange. Then we have jaune, jaune. jaune, which is the color yellow. You may recognize the first part if you've ever heard of someone that is jaundice, um, which might happen if someone is having liver failure. And that's when your skin turns like yellow when you're jaundice. So, jaune is like the base word for that, jaune. Then we have the color green, vert, vert. If it's feminine, it's pronounced verte, verte. And then if it's plural, you just add an S. Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Uzi Green. So there you go. I don't know if he planned it like that, but that's what it means in French. So green is vert. Blue is blue. But in French, we'd say it with a French accent though. Bleu, bleu. I know it sounds weird. So blue is bleu. If it's feminine, you add an extra E. It does not change the pronunciation. It's just bleu with an E. And then S if it's plural. Purple is violet. Violet. If it's masculine, violette. Violette. If it's a feminine object and you're describing it as being purple. Pink is rose. Rose. So if you think like you have like rosy cheeks, that means they're pink. Rose. Black is noir. Noir. If it's a feminine item that is black, you add an E. Um, in our vocab, un tableau noir, tableau is masculine, so that's why there's no E on the noir part. Un tableau noir is a blackboard. White is blanc, or if it's feminine, blanche. It cut off a little bit. That's just got an S in parentheses at the end. Blanc, if it's a masculine item. Blanche, if it's feminine. I think it's in like Golden Girls or something. One of the characters is named Blanche, which just means white in French. Gray is gris, gris. If it's a feminine item, grise, grise. And then marron. Oh, I kind of switched these when I put this in. But marron is brown. So think of like maroon ish. Marron means brown. So voilà les couleurs rouge, orange, jaune, vert, bleu, violet, rose, noir, blanc, gris, and marron. So voilà les couleurs. And do not forget that they agree in gender and number. That's going to be the number one thing that trips you up in French, is remembering that things agree in gender and number. All right, moving along. C'est como, c'est un grand chien. So now we're going to be talking about grand et petit. Hopefully, from just seeing these adjectives, we can kind of deduce that grand means big, as in grand, like something is grand, which means it is big. Grand and petit. Petit, you should recognize from petite if something is or someone is petite. They're a small person. So grand et petit, these also agree in size and number. So for this first example, that's a big dog, right? A big old fluffy dog. C'est un grand chien. This is a big dog, okay? C'est un grand chien. It's spelled like this because it's masculine and it's singular. So c'est un grand chien. Also, notice the placement of the adjective. This adjective is placed in the front of the noun. Chien is our adjective, or chien is our noun, my bad. Chien is our noun and grand is our adjective. All right? It's placed in front of the noun, which you'll see is not the case for most adjectives. If we wanted to put more detail into the sentence and say that this is a big brown dog, this is how we would say it. C'est un grand chien marron. C'est un grand chien marron. So look at the placement of the adjectives in this sentence. Grand is still in front of the noun, but now marron is coming after the noun. So this translates to this is a big dog brown, but in English, that's the literal translation. In English, we would translate this to this is a big brown dog, okay? So normally in French, adjectives are placed after the noun, which is why the color marron is placed after chien. There are a few specific adjectives that are placed in front of the nouns. And we'll get into those later, but we're starting right now with grand et petit because they have to do with size. So adjectives that describe size will go in front of the noun. So that's why it's c'est un grand chien marron and not c'est un chien grand marron, if you can hear the difference. So yeah, moving right along. Como c'est? How is this? Or what is this like? So now we're going to use petit, right? C'est un petit croissant. These are little tiny baby croissants, right? C'est un petit croissant. Ce sont des petits croissants beige. Ce sont des petits croissants beige. So, beige was not a color that we went over, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the same in English and French. But look at the spelling here, okay? So, in the second sentence, we're talking about multiple. So that's why it's ce sont instead of c'est. Ce sont des petits, small with an S. Ce sont des petits croissants beige. So notice how petit croissant and beige, actually des also, they're all plural. They all have an S. Des petits croissants beige. So that's why it's so important that you know what you're talking about in French, whether it's masculine, feminine, plural, because from this sentence, we can see that croissant is masculine because there's no E on the petite. That's pronounced petit. All right. And we can see that it's plural. And we know we're talking about multiple because we see the S's. Petit croissant beige. Also, we should know from ce sont because that kind of indicates, well, that does indicate, it doesn't kind of, it does indicate multiple. So talking about one croissant, un petit croissant, talking about multiple, des petits croissants beige with a color after the noun. Starting to see the structure a little bit? Let's move along. Comment c'est? So in French, the word for shoes is chaussure. Chaussure. So, c'est une petite chaussure. So, as we can see from the sentence, chaussure is a feminine item, okay? So this is a small shoe, only talking about one singular also, because we see une. So instead of saying petit, we say petite. We now pronounce that T at the end. C'est une petite chaussure. It is, or this is a small shoe. All right. Now, if we want to get more specific and talk about multiple and the color, we're going to say ce sont, these are, ce sont des petites, with an ES, chaussures, avec un S, multicolorées. Multicolored. So these are small, multicolored shoes. All right. Ce sont des petites chaussures multicolorées. Voilà. See how petite is in front of the noun, and then multicouleur, our other adjective that does not describe size, is put after. All right. Como c'est? Anyone know whose house this is? This is, in fact, Kanye's house. Although I don't know if they've moved since I used this picture, though. But yeah, c'est la maison de Kanye West. So it's big, right? All right. Talking about one singular house, and this is one house, and it's huge. C'est une grande maison. C'est une grande maison. Remember how with the dog we said c'est un grand chien? We didn't pronounce the D. Now we do because this is feminine. The word for house is maison and it's feminine. C'est une grande, now we pronounce the D, c'est une grande maison. Now, let's describe this as a big blue house. Try to do it on your own before I show you. C'est une grande maison. Where do we put the color bleu? All right, I'll show you. C'est une grande maison bleue. Also, notice how blue has an E at the end because maison is féminin. C'est une grande maison. All right? C'est une grande maison bleue. Voilà, voilà. Okay, so just to resume really quick, thank you for making it to the end of this. Adjectives agree with gender and number, okay, depending on masculine, feminine, or plural. If it's a feminine object, what do we add? An E. If it's a plural object, we add an S. Okay, voila, voila. That is it. I hope that you found this helpful. We will be working with these in the near future, so keep these notes with you and on hand, and go ahead and practice with them. Write down some sentences, give yourself some examples. The more you practice, the better you're going to be. All right? All right, tout le monde. Au revoir.